Today's video is sponsored by Camel City Mill.
Hi, the bank's here. We'd like to.
No.
It said it'd pay for itself. Listen.
Put the 12-way wedge on the Easton made Evo. This is the first I've used this one. I've been kind of going through the log pile, pulling out all the smaller logs, and we went through all those. Now we'll run the 12-way for a while. I really like that. Makes really nice size firewood. But before we get back to this, we got to saw some 2x4s on the mill. All right, we just cranked out some 2x4s there. I got an order for 24 of them. I think there's 26 in this pile right here. These are 9-footers. They only need 8-footers. Get a little bit extra in case there's any checking on the ends. But man, those are nice. You're not going to find 2x4s that straight in a big box store. These slabs right here, Levi's going to load these up in his truck, take some over to my father-in-law Ed. He's just going to use these for stacking firewood on. That should work for that, plus any other scrap you could use for that as well. Got the mill all cleaned up here. I think when I get back, I need to run out for a little bit. We'll load up that log deck on the firewood processor, but with that 12-way wedge and the bigger logs, I think I'll produce firewood twice as fast, really. You know, those 10, 11-inch logs, you make a lot of wood, but you put a 15, 18-inch log on there with that 12-way wedge, it'll just be cranking out the firewood. I mean, we'll go through that pile in no time. So this morning I put my boots on at 4:45 a.m. It is now 7:14 p.m. and my feet feel great. This morning it was also very cold and my feet were warm and toasty. Now next week it's going to warm up and my feet will be dry and cool. Now how is all this possible? Because I wear the greatest socks you have ever seen or heard of. Camel City Mill. These things are fantastic. They wick sweat 35% better than cotton or polyester. Like I said, they keep your feet comfortable throughout a 14-hour work shift. Cool in the summertime, warm in the wintertime. They come in 3 lengths, ankle, crew, and boot lengths. And if you don't believe me, read through some of the comments from people that have bought these. They're just a fantastic product made right here in the USA down in North Carolina. They have a 10-year durability guarantee on socks, which is unheard of. I'm not going to quit talking about these till all of you have feet that are as happy as mine. Get 10% off my favorite work socks from Camel City Mill with code Morgans10. Link in the description. So I just came up to the house. Melissa, I got something to tell you. We'll do this on camera.
Because you think this is safer?
It's safer. So Bill just called, log truck driver Bill. Yeah. He's got a load of hickory, locust, beautiful firewood poles.
No, tell him to send you a picture.
We'll get a picture when it's down at the wood yard.
No, we agreed that was all, remember?
Melissa, that machine's just eating the wood. Just
Stop!
It's like money in the bank.
Oh, yeah, it'll pay for itself.
It will.
Hi, the bank's here. We'd like to...
No.
It said it'd pay for itself. Listen, that you might as well call that a load of trickery instead of hickory.
So I got to move a few things around here and make some room in a hurry. I think I'm all ready for Bill here. He can sit right here in front of his truck, put a whole load right in there, no problem at all. We probably went through a load and a half so far. That pile came out like this, you know what I mean? So we got plenty of room for the logs. I was thinking, I've got a 6-way 8-way and 12-way wedge, okay? This is the 12-way that we put on here this morning. I love the size of that right there. That's that log right there. I'm just kind of figuring this out. We're going to see here in a little bit after Bill leaves what kind of wood the 12-way produces with that right there. That's a pretty good sized log, really. I probably just have a few that are bigger than this. Yeah, that's 16 inches in diameter. I think that'll be fine with a 12-way. I was debating on ordering the 16-way wedge, but really, when I get into logs this size right here, I can probably cut some saw logs out of it, and then what's left, split it up on the Wolfe Ridge, you know? We'll run the 12-way for a while, see what it looks like. But it's making a nice mix, you know what I mean? Got this nice little piece here. These pieces right here in the center are just perfect. Yeah, I think it'll work. All right, I hear a log truck coming. Wood coming in, wood going out. That load there, some of this stuff here was already here, but was mostly hickory. There's a little bit of cherry, some oak, and some locust. Now I'll have to kind of separate this stuff out a little bit as I'm feeding the Evo over there, because like maple and cherry, we can cut and split that right now and it will be ready for this winter, you know, this coming winter. Whereas like the hickory and the oaks will not be ready until the following winter. But I don't get a lot of hickory, and it's great firewood. Same with the locust as well. So that'll be nice for the following year. So when you load up the log deck with like 15, 16-inch diameter poles, matter of fact, I didn't even have a full load on it. It is like double the amount of firewood produced compared to if you had just one row of like, you know, 10-inch logs on there. That is stamping out some wood in a hurry. So I have more deliveries going out this week. I've got a lot of customers that I talked to and said, hey, how about we just deliver your wood right now, and you can get it all stacked up and it'll be ready to go for next winter. And that is the key right there. We also got this whole bay completely filled up, and then Levi has started on this one. He stacks her up to the rafters in there. Levi and I were talking, we would like to get some more wood sheds. It takes time to get this all stacked in here, but once it's in here, it's in here. It's out of the weather, it dries nicely, and like with that machine, you can just stamp out the wood, get all the baskets filled, fill up some more wood sheds, deliver as much as you can, and what you have left here is like money in the bank. But anyway, I think what we'll do, we'll get this all emptied out into the wood shed, maybe a couple baskets and another delivery or two, get it all cleaned up, and then we'll fill this with some oak and some hickory, things like that, which will be for the following winter. And then we'll get a bunch of baskets and maybe fill it all up with them. Something like that. It's a work in progress. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.